This is the recording of my Zoom call from today, May 19th, 2023. I'm going to talk about a strategy that has been proven to generate listings and get you more deals. The reason I do these Zoom calls is to bring you value so that we can grow our business together. So make sure to tune in on Fridays. I hope you enjoy the video. I was listening to a YouTube video this morning and then also just looking at interest rates and things like that. I got one deal into contract earlier this week and got it locked in. Interest rates, the 30-year fixed average is back at 6.9%. So that's not the direction we were hoping for. I know a lot of people that follow Barry Habib they're talking about the CPI numbers that came out on May 10th as like a big milestone, which it is. The CPI numbers are improving a little bit, but interest rates aren't dropping as quickly as we'd like them to. So long story short, we're at 6.9 on a conventional. FHA is going to be a little bit cheaper, 6.25, 6.5, somewhere in there with decent credit. So we do still think rates will continue to decline throughout the summer. This debt ceiling debacle is really what's in the spotlight right now. So once they get that figured out, I think the stock market will rebound and hopefully we'll see some improvement in interest rates as well. And so I was listening to this YouTube thing this morning, and what I'm really focusing on right now, or one of the things I'm focusing on is, every single opportunity we get, we need to cherish that and really make our best effort. So there's a couple things, and if you can write this down, when I'm on the phone with someone, I'm having a combination of things that I'm thinking out about. So I'm hungry, right? Because I'm motivated to get deals done. I want to get more business. I'm not doing as much business as I'd like to, but also I'm making an effort to be helpful. So whatever capacity it means for that client, I want to be helpful. I want to find a need and fill a need. So I think that's a really good thing to write down. Find a need and fill a need, and just being service-minded to help out, because I know that comes back around to us, right? The last thing I would write down and focus on is, how do I make them feel? So when I'm talking to the client and they're expressing maybe some frustrations or some goals of theirs, how am I making them feel during that conversation? I kind of got stuck in a rut myself for the last 6 months of like, man, rates are up. It's really tough right now, and just kind of got in a mental rut. But we just need to be more optimistic and also offer encouragement to people. Janet, thanks for popping on. Janet and I have been talking to a client for a while, and she was really pessimistic in the beginning. And she's like, man, stuff's so expensive. I don't know if I'm going to be able to buy a house. So I'm just talking through that process with her, offering solutions, talking to her about the benefits of buying a house over renting. So I'm talking about the tax benefit. I'm talking about the fact that she's paying into a savings plan essentially by paying down her mortgage each month. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Be hungry, be helpful, and how do I make them feel when I'm talking to them, right? Because people are relying on us as advisors, right? We're the experts. And then also, I wanted to touch on our new Movement Boost program. So we have a new down payment assistance program. And I know that the hot topic for the last few months, while it lasted in March, was the California Dream for All program, 20% down. Great. There were a ton of people that applied for that. They ran out of money. A lot of people didn't get to take advantage of that program. So our Movement Boost program, it's similar to a Cal HFA down payment assistance. It can give a client either 3.5% or 5% to cover the down payment and some closing costs on an FHA loan. So there's a few differences that stand out that are different on our program than Cal HFA. The main ones are we can go down to a 620 credit score, where Cal HFA is going to require a 640. Our down payment assistance, it is a second mortgage that has to be repaid, and it needs to be repaid each month. So there's a monthly payment with it. Ish, do you have a question on that? I saw you raise your hand.
Yeah, I do. what if, like, so hypothetically, say they have a good down payment and everything like that, they just need a little to close, like they just need like 1 or 2%. Can they just utilize that, or do they have to utilize the whole thing, or not at all?
That's a good question. Actually, I haven't run into that because the clients that I'm running into need the whole thing. I can definitely look
Yeah.
into that and get back to you.
Yeah, like I'm just curious, like, say if they have the down payment, but you like, you know what, maybe I want to keep some just because I want to buy some new appliances and furniture and stuff like that. So can I just like, put down 1 or 2% of you guys, so
Yeah, instead of 3.5 on a $350,000 house, that's about 15 grand. So like if they just wanted to use 5,000 of it,
yeah, exactly.
yeah, I'll get the answer on that and get back to you today.
Cool.
Right on. And another really big thing about our program, they can have a non-occupying co-signer. So Cal HFA doesn't allow anybody that doesn't live in the house to help qualify. And so that's a big perk. I was talking to a real estate agent the other week. She's looking at buying a house herself. And as we know how we file taxes and things like that, it might not get her to that mark to get pre-approved. But if she can have one of her parents co-sign, this program would actually allow for that. So, I mean, it was a frenzy in 2001, 2022, 2020. There's a lot of first-time homebuyers and people without a ton of cash that lost out during that time period. And I know the competition's coming back and it's difficult right now. But if you have any leads from the last 2 years, maybe if you could go through your database and identify somebody that didn't have the money, or it was a VA buyer or something that lost out, this would be a good conversation starter to maybe get them re-engaged and talk to them. So if you want any more information about that, let me know. I think most of the people on this call got an email from me last week with a little flyer. And then I actually put some mortgage examples for somebody that would use this program to see what the monthly payments look like. So that's one thing. And then the most exciting thing that I wanted to talk about today is a strategy and a presentation that I heard from an agent in Arizona at our coaching event last week. His name is Kei Watanabe, and I'm going to drop some of his stats just so we can kind of think about the validity of it. I think a lot of times we hear ideas and it's like, oh, that sounds great, but like, is it just a theory or does it actually work? So he gave his stats for last year, and he operates a pretty large team. So keep that in mind. This principle, you certainly can apply it to an individual agent or a small team. So in 2022, he generated a total of 504 leads. Okay. So the strategy I'm going to talk about generated him 52 of those leads. He does a lot of business. I think he ended up doing about 300 sides last year, but a tenth of his leads were from this. And it's actually working with estate planning attorneys. Does anyone on the call currently work or know any estate planning attorneys? Or have you kind of gone down that road with your business at all?
Well, no, I actually took liberty of actually looking some up, but I haven't quite reached out yet to sit down and talk to them.
Okay, cool. So this is going to be perfect for you if you already have that thought in your head. I mean, I don't think it's a new strategy. In my business, I have referral partners, and a certain amount of those referral partners are VIPs or people that are outside of our industry. So I actually have an estate planning attorney that I did our trust through, and they're one of my best referral partners. Because of the environment that we're in, there's a lot of people that have homes with low interest rates. And so that move up buyer is more hesitant to make a move right now. But what we're going to see, and I think what we're seeing right now, but it's circumstantial transactions. So what I mean by that is it's a family that they bought their house 5 years ago and they had one child, and maybe they have child number 3 on the way now. and they just physically need more space, right? That person's going to have a higher motivation level to sell than somebody that just doesn't need to, right? So somebody that needs more space, maybe an older person that needs to downsize into a single story property, divorce. So like the family attorney, the estate planning attorney, when they have clients that need to refinance off a home or sell a home, they call me because they know that I can answer those questions for their client. So this strategy is about identifying some estate planning attorneys. And I mean, you could do your research, do Google search, come up with a list. You could do it geographically or however. One thing that I'm focusing on now, which is kind of in contrast to this Zoom call, but I'm trying to be live and local. So as much business as I can do in person, I'm trying to do in person. So if you want to pick an estate planning attorney that's within like a 10 or 20 mile radius of you, I think being able to pop into their office and introduce yourself is a big perk. So he actually has a 90-day follow-up plan. I'll share a couple of those bullet points, but I will actually scan these few pages and send those out to all of you on the call too. I thought it was really, really cool and impactful. So, you can identify a list, whether it be 10, 20, 5, whoever you want to target. We want to be really, really mindful and do our research on those people, right? Because we're trying to build a lasting relationship and we're trying to become a reliable asset and resource for them and their clients. So this isn't like a one and done transactional thing. This is really digging deep to establish a relationship with these people. So number one, and I'll share an example of his flyer, but the first thing he suggests after you identify your list, come up with a flyer and make a flyer to promote yourself that you can drop in the mail, and you can send that to them every few weeks or have a couple mail pieces to send out. I think that's a really good first touch. And do your homework on the people as well. Some of you on here, we connected through social media. Jump on social media, research their brand, try to find out like what their business niche is. Really do your homework. When we're showing up to, talk to somebody, like if you're a real estate agent and I was trying to get your business, I want to be really impactful. I'm going to prepare for that meeting as if it was a job interview. So think of it that way. I mean, people that are professional and they're doing a lot of business, they want to work with other people that are really professional and doing a lot of business, right? So just take your time and do your homework. You can stop by the office. That would be another great thing. If you've mailed them ahead of time, maybe you've called them or emailed them, pop by their office. This is another really, really great strategy for relationship building. If you're talking about a really successful attorney, they're probably busy. They're probably in court a lot. So showing face at their office and actually getting to know their staff, who are oftentimes the gatekeepers, I think is brilliant. So you could go in there, pop by, bring cookies, drop something off, just introduce yourself, some business cards or some cookies. That's another good touch. And then if you're doing that like every couple of weeks, pop by, you're going to get to know the person at the front desk, maybe some other people in the office, and just build that relationship. If you're showing up every week or every 2 weeks, chances are the boss is going to hear about you because they'll say, oh yeah, hey, so-and-so dropped off some cookies. Oh, so-and-so came by this week and brought us this. I think that's really, really smart. And then once you maybe get an appointment with that person, you want to further that relationship. You could take them to lunch, maybe take their team to lunch or bring lunch to their office. But going back to your flyer and your value proposition, there's a couple of things that he touched on. So I know as a lender, I have I call it my VIP list, but it's essentially a vendor list. So I assume that you guys in real estate have some type of vendor list. On that vendor list, you might have a painter, you might have a handyman, an estate planning attorney, an insurance person. You probably have a group of people that you work with pretty consistently. So on my vendor list, I have everyone from a personal stylist to an insurance broker and everything in between. I have a home security company. So when I have a client that purchases a home, I'll provide them with my vendor list and say, hey, if you need anything, reach out to these people. So for the estate planning strategy, and this is especially great if the attorney has a conservatorship with their clients, because that means that the attorney is handling everything, including who lists that home for sale when someone passes. Okay. So that's the idea here. Become a vendor and make that attorney's life easier and come off with a great presentation, right? So the idea is to get in with that attorney, and when they have clients that need to sell homes, hopefully you can win those listings. So on his flyer, he has a couple things. A junk removal company. If you don't have one of those, like a property clean out company, I would use this same strategy, identify a couple companies, set an appointment with the owner, get to know a company that's going to provide really great service, and then you can add them into this package, if you will. I would get a moving company, like a furniture moving company. There's a guy with North American that I always see at MLS meetings in Cameron Park. He and I exchange information. He goes to those meetings to meet real estate agents so he can get the moving business when someone's buying or selling a house. I think that's a brilliant strategy. So a moving company, a junk removal company. Actually, last weekend when we got back from Texas, there was an estate sale in our neighborhood. And so my wife's uncle and I, they were buying a table from the sale. So I went by there, and there were people at this house, and I didn't even know this was a thing, to be honest with you, but there's people that facilitate estate sales. So they actually come into your house, they'll do all the inventory, they'll do all the pricing, and they actually sit the estate sale. They handle all the accounting, all the taxes and everything. So I think finding a company that does that would be amazing too. So if you can come with this, come meet with this attorney and have a flyer with all these vendor relationships already established, and just have a meeting with them and say, hey, for your clients, when somebody passes and they need to deal with the property, here's my system. I can do a pre-listing appointment. I'll do a broker's price of opinion for free. I'll introduce you to the estate sale company. I have a junk removal company that can clean up the property. As a real estate agent, you probably have a landscaping company if they want to put a little bit of money into the property to make it presentable before the sale. So you're offering that advice along with those other services attached. You can offer the rekey service. So say, hey, before we list the property, we're going to rekey it. We're going to clean it out. You could have a locksmith on there. And then also, so this gentleman, and I think probably most of us all know some type of real estate investor at a certain level. So you can go to your investors and say, hey, I'm pursuing a relationship with these estate planning attorneys. I want to be able to offer to them as part of my package for the trustees that I'm going to bring them an all cash offer that we will purchase this property. So, when somebody passes, I know a lot of people that do like wholesaling, and a lot of people are out of state owners that get a house when somebody passes away. They might not even want to mess with putting the house on the market, going through escrow, reviewing offers, dealing with buyers. So you could make part of your package, hey, when you have a property that needs to be sold, I'm going to bring you all these services. I'll do a BPO. We can put it on the market. I'll get it all prepped, rekeyed, everything. And if they don't want to go with that option, I have investors that will give an all cash offer if they just want to be done with the property as soon as possible. So I think putting this package together in a very neat, organized way that you can present from an attorney is a huge value add. So I wanted to hear what you guys think about that.
No, I like it, man. It's pretty cool. That's kind of what I've been meaning to do, but I just never got around to it. But no, I just, with my thing is like, just knowing what to write, like kind of what you explained, is just kind of giving that value package. And just I guess my thing is like I would kind of want to see an example of one, so
Yeah.
I feel like I'm doing it right, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can tweak it however you see fit, but I'll definitely send you his actual flyer. I actually have it right here. Here's his one-shot flyer. See if you can see this. So it's got just a photo. Sorry if the mic was hot there. So you have a partner, and then it has all the bullet points that talk about the BPO, the junk clean out, the all cash offer, etc. So that's the one page thing. And then he goes on and he has a letter that talks about his personal experience, his team, and things like that. But I think, and I think I've experienced this firsthand. So, if I'm calling on a real estate agent to try to earn their trust in their business, I'm probably not the only person calling, right? I don't think this is a new idea. I think that real estate agents probably call on estate planning attorneys, I would think somewhat often, but I just probably think it's rare for somebody to have a very well organized package, because we have to be very tactical about this. I mean, we're trying to develop the relationship, find somebody that likes us and trusts us, and then also be organized. So, I mean, if somebody came to me with a package like this and, I had just inherited a property in Wisconsin or something, and the attorney said, well, we have a real estate agent that offers all of these services, I would probably say, yeah, go for it, because I mean, first, I'm probably dealing with grief from the loss of my relative. This is the last thing that people want to be thinking about, right? So I think if you organize it and you have all your bases covered with those vendors, it could be really, really successful. I wouldn't go into the strategy of like calling a couple times and getting the account. But I think if you're intentional and you're really being serious about building that relationship, you're showing up at the office, you're taking care of their employees. Because remember, employers, they always love it when people take care of their employees. So like if I was a business owner and somebody's bringing my team lunch once a month or offering some type of value, that's going to be huge for that attorney or that business owner. So I think it's a really cool idea. I have some design services and things like that. So if anyone ever needs help with flyers, I do a lot of that stuff through Canva and other things. So yeah, please let me know if you like the idea. And like I said, I'll scan these flyers in and send them out to everybody today. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you want the flyers that I talked about in this video, which is a copy of the 90-day business plan to make the strategy work, shoot me an email at ben.johnston@movement.com. Have a great day.